this Christmas, I learned of another terrifying Scandinavian tale of the Yule. I think it was the Yule cat. Yeah, a giant cat that would roam around in the snow after Christmas. And if you weren't wearing your new clothes that you got for Christmas, cat would eat you. So basically, this story was like, you better be grateful for them. Yeah, it's not toys, but you better be grateful for them new clothes your dad or your grandma hand wove for you, or the giant cat will eat you. Submarine? What is that?
What is what?
It looks like a line. Yeah, what is that?
It looks like someone ran a cable line out to SpongeBob SquarePants' house. It's like a rubber. No, it's just a hose. It's not. Yeah, it's like a rubber water hose. So I'm guessing it's draining something.
Oh, I hope it's not the ocean.
Yes, we can get one of these relaxy things, which I might before I go. I don't know how much time you've got left in you, but I'll need to eat. What time is it? Soon. And then I may come sit down here at the ocean for a few minutes and say some things on the camera.
And say some wise words. I'll dispense my wisdom by the seaside.
That's right.
Oh.
Work out. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. You're just like, hey, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, all right.
Trying to work out if these beachfront properties are all restaurants or restaurant hotel combos. I mean, we'll pop up and see one where it's over with. I just want to walk a bit and see what the beach is. What's going on here? It's not the worst beach. I kind of thought because it just happened to be close to the historic town that it was just kind of a forced here's some sand, so we'll make a place for people to stay on the beach. It's actually a nice beach.
Is this coming at you? Is it attacking? If the answer is no, it will in a few minutes. The closer it gets.
Just wait.
Wait another moment and answer this question again. Oh.
Hi. I mean, I think this is a good view. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm starting to say sillier stuff than usual, so I must be running out of steam.
All right. I understand. Well, I'll switch the camera around to say goodbye since this is our last episode for a while. You just press buttons. Love buttons.
Oh, buttons.
Buttons the cat.
Oh, my God, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Buttons
oh, my God.
My God. I'm projecting my thoughts halfway across the planet.
Scott, do you have any final thoughts on Da Nang and or Hoi An?
You know, it really does seem like a lovely couple of places there. Da Nang obviously is a little bigger city than
Hoi An.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're right. Hoi An is small.
But they both have their charms.
They do. Yeah, I enjoyed them both, but I got to say, if you go to Da Nang first, you're probably going to like Hoi An better because I was just exhausted after Da Nang. Did I say that backwards? If you go to Da Nang first, you're going to like Hoi An better because I was just exhausted. I got here, and this place, even if you go and do the stuff, it's just more laid back. The whole thing, things you do are, diddle around, look at this little site for a second, and then go have a coffee and whatever. And it's just a lot more relaxing. Like today, I'm just at the beach.
You can tell it's a much smaller town kind of vibe here. So
certainly,
yeah.
Okay, well, Scott, I appreciate you joining. You joined frequently, and I appreciate that. Allowed me to start each day with someone to chat with.
I'm excited about that new Deadpool Wolverine movie that's coming out.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, they just dropped the trailer for it. I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed the first two Deadpool movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know a little about it, obviously, but I was like, oh, well, this looks very cool. Like the look of it, the magical aspects of it looked really, really cool. And I was like, well.
What do you mean the magical aspects?
There was like a train going to the Emerald City, and then how they showed the wizard, instead of it being like a face projected with a projector like in the Judy Garland version, it was more like a bunch of moving cogs. The face was, and it's hard to describe, but it looked really interesting, and so that was neat. It was something like it looked whimsical, like there's no way this would work, but yeah,
right. That's nice. Sounds good.
But Jen says she's not really looking forward to it. She's been a big fan of the Wicked novel and the stage play and stuff. She said that she is she's read that they really cut out all the lesbian undertones.
There were lesbian undertones in that?
There were.
I've never seen or read it, so I had no clue.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to give it away.
I mean, worry more about spoiling it for the audience. But it is like 20 some odd years old now, I think. So, story.
And then they cast Ariana Grande to play, I can't think, Glinda Glinda. You know, Glinda in The Wizard of Oz, she has become the Good Witch of the East. But,
you're right.
Or the North.
The East and West are bad. They're the bad witches.
That's right. Sorry.
North and South
She's the Good Witch of the... Yeah, and Jen said she didn't like that casting. So I don't know much about it.
Wait, who did they cast?
Ariana Grande.
Oh, okay. That's a singer, right?
She's a singer and an actress. She's one of the young people that started out on a Disney Channel show when she was a teenager.
And then finally got recognized, huh?
Yeah, she's much bigger, I think, as a singer.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I mean, I assume it's going to be a musical, just like the stage show. The 80s were a time when there were scarier live action fantasy movies for children than I think later on.
What? Now, we talked about this before. Did we list them? Gremlins were definitely on the list. Were there only 2 Gremlins movies?
There were 2 Gremlins movies, yeah. They ran pretty far up, if I remember correctly, though.
There's, I feel like The Never-Ending Story falls into that category.
Yes. It was traumatizing. The Labyrinth was the other one with the Jim Henson one. What am I thinking of?
There was one where, I mean, I never watched it. It doesn't really, it's not in my memory, but I'm vaguely aware of one where there was a demon and...
A legend. Yeah, that was the one with the best devil costume ever created by a human. with Tim Curry. That was the
Dark Crystal.
I haven't seen that one, but it just scary images, it seems like. But yeah, I don't know. And then suddenly, by the end of the 80s, parents were like, "Oh, kids can't handle this stuff." I mean, a lot of the fairy tales, the original, like Grimm's fairy tales and stuff like that, were pretty dark.
Yeah, grim.
So
they
were grim.
It's appropriate that they're called Grimm's fairy tales because a lot of them are not really like stuff you should be telling children. I don't think. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but things like terrorizing children is the wrong idea. Because, kids don't have as good a grasp, at least at a certain age, they don't have as good a grasp on fantasy versus reality. I mean, to be fair, a lot of adults don't.
Yeah.
So telling them those kind of stories seems bad. I'm just going to angle it. It would also help the lighting.
This Christmas, I learned of another terrifying Scandinavian tale of the Yule. I think it was the Yule cat. Yeah, a giant cat that would roam around in the snow after Christmas, and if you weren't wearing your new clothes that you got for Christmas, cat would eat you. So basically this story was like, you better be grateful for them. Yeah, it's not toys, but you better be grateful for them new clothes your dad or your grandma hand wove for you, or the giant cat will eat you.
Come on. This is the watermelon yogurt. I mean,
and it's in a fun-shaped glass.
Yes. Definitely on my list of must-haves. Must have my beverages out of uniquely shaped glasses.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way when you're on vacation.
My information, Scott, says compared to the more touristy Quasi Beach, Ambang Beach remains relatively calm and uncrowded, offering a more relaxed and authentic beach experience. Are they joking? It's not crowded right now. I'm not saying it, but just looking at the number of chairs, this does not seem like it's not like it's an undiscovered beach.
I mean, I guess it is by some standards, but not by mine, I guess. I haven't been to a lot of beaches in my life, the Florida Gulf Coast and the Florida East Coast. And
Florida's got good beaches, Yeah. I'm ready to make fun of Florida for whatever reason you would like. I always love to jump, but I actually like Florida. Part of loving Florida is making fun of it a lot. But the beaches, they are some of the best in the world. This beach right here, it said, stretches from Da Nang up at Sunshine Peninsula, where we were the other day, all the way down to, close to here, to the river. It stops at the river. 35 kilometers of beach. That's pretty impressive, and a pretty nice beach all the way. Mm-hmm. But that's about the same quality beach as you get for Florida, stretching from St. Augustine down to Miami, which is more than 35 kilometers.
It is.
Florida has some really unparalleled beaches.
So if you're going to go, if you can't go to Bong Beach here, go to Florida.
I mean, wherever you're at, if you're just looking for a beach, go to the closest one. I'm totally mystified by people who like international travelers who come to someplace like Da Nang and stay on the beach and make it a beach vacation, and like, well, why did you come to Vietnam? I mean, they've got great beaches, so I'm not saying miss them. You don't need to fly to all the. If you're international, you don't need to fly all the way to Vietnam for just to go to the beach. Like, again, I'm not saying miss the beach if you're coming to Vietnam or coming to this area, but it just doesn't make any sense to me to come all the way here and then make your whole vacation a beach vacation.
Well, and again, I'm not like crapping on people. If you like, I mean, if that's your idea of a good time, I mean, cool. Nobody's getting hurt. It's fine. I mean, it's just not me. It's just not me.
And to be fair, if that's their happy, they've discovered how to be happy, then great.
Sure.
I like to go see stuff.
See stuff? You're in the right place. You're on the beach.
That's the sea right there. I do like the ocean.
I don't dislike the ocean or beaches. I'm just saying, like, maybe I'm spoiled by being so near to Florida and all that, But
yeah.
If I
Southerners are spoiled. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if I was going to go somewhere far away, for me at least, to a beach, it would be somewhere in like the Northeast or the West Coast, Canada, not British Columbia, Northwest, that kind of stuff, to see those kinds of beaches rather than what I'm used to.
Yeah. I'd like to travel in Canada. That's a place I've never been. Quite a large country.
Yeah, it's still largely uninhabited too, or sparsely populated, I should say.
Yeah, there's no one up there if you don't count Canadians.
I love Canadians.
Well, yeah, I love counting them.
One Canadian.
We should be able to make that into the word Canuck. Should work on that.
Yeah, I'll try to workshop that a little bit between now and next time we go counting Canadians. Counting Canadians is my new the name of my next band. Yeah, my next band. Counting Canadians.
Good names. Good band name.
Thank you.
Hey, did I bring my sunglasses? I did. I could put them on and not be blind.
Joe Cool. Joe Biden.
Oh, is he going to get reelected? I gotta. Oh, go ahead.
If I could see the future, I'd go buy a lotto ticket.
Fair enough.
But he has gotten a lot done that has helped the U.S. I mean, we've not gone into as much as the interest rate thing sucks as far as paying back loans and things like that. It's kept us out of a recession. Stock market's really high. Unemployment is really low. And he was coming out of the pandemic when he started his term. And it's just gone up from there. So I think our country has certainly weathered that storm a little better than maybe some others. And I'm not saying others have done a crap job. I just think maybe we've done maybe slightly better. And I think that's because of the presidency. And so I think he's done pretty well.
I agree with the people who say that age, should be a consideration here when we're talking about this advanced age, because I mean things can start to go wrong for people when you get to be that old. So
what I have an issue with is that seems to be all you hear about. Like, Biden, he's just so old, and it's beginning to feel like her emails all over again. And it's like you're not looking at the job performance here. Yes, that's an issue, but look at this stuff over here too.
Well, also, it looks like the other guys are going to put up a candidate who is just as advanced in age. I mean, maybe they're not exactly the same age, but they're in the same range.
I think Joe Biden's 81 and Trump is 77. I believe are their ages.
The problem, of course, with Trump is if he loses his mind or begins to lose his mind as he gets older, how will you be able to tell?
Right, yeah.
He's never made any sense. Nothing that comes out of his mouth, connects to anything in reality. He's completely cuckoo. I do not understand how he made it as far as he did without someone in the media pointing out this man is insane. He's just completely bonkers. Besides individual comments that he's made. I remember in debates, the classic gotcha question from the moderators is always about the nuclear triad, that one where they go, what do you think about the nuclear triad? Is it, wearing a nice sweater today? Or, they just ask some stupid question and then they wait to see if the candidate knows what the nuclear triad is.
Mm-hmm.
And often the candidate will bumble around and it'll be in the news the next day. Oh, he didn't know what it was. He can't be president if he doesn't know what that is. And that's been, for some reason, they've been able to stump candidates for years, election or campaign after campaign in these debates. And the same thing happened to Trump, and he clearly did not know what it was and just started babbling about nothing, and no one called him on it. No, not one person in the media the next day said, well, obviously that's an evasion. He didn't answer it with anything that would give evidence that he knew what the question was.
I think the larger,
just an example.
Well, I think the largest issue with Donald Trump is that he is a fascist and that he tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power after the
That's a big one.
the last election. Basically tried to self-coup, and that's the biggest problem. The next biggest problem is that he has no platform except
that he doesn't like Biden.
That he doesn't like a whole host of people in this country.
Right,
different groups for different reasons. And I'm trying real hard to be, not cause a stir here on the channel. But
thank you, Gilman. Let me show you
that also a lot of that feeds into the whole fascism thing. You got to have groups to punch down at, to blame. And he has no policy. The only policy is I don't like anything I don't agree with. I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. And I'm not going to agree to anything else. I'm right about everything. My point of view, our point of view is correct. They're all lying.
Yeah.
They're covering things up. They're being political too. And thus it's all hogwash. The continued lack of education, funding, and importance in America has contributed
Importance of education, you mean?
Yes, the importance of education.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The idea that opinions are just as important as facts, that's not true.
Opinions not accurate.
Opinions are important and should be heard out, and some should be respected unless they're just batshit crazy or offensive or terrible. But especially when you're dealing with stuff like policy and court cases and science and things like that, your opinion, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So that
you certainly hear people say stuff like that, especially when they're talking about the law. They're like, well, we'll talk about, some case that someone's in court or whatever, and someone will always go, here's what I think they ought to do. They would just throw away the book, not ever let him out again. I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with law. You may think that should happen, but that completely beside the point.
Yeah, it's probably good you weren't put on the jury then.
Right.
So I think it's a lot of, you're seeing all that come to a head. You're also seeing the fact that the baby boomer generation is getting old and they're scared and their faculties are failing. And not all of them, but a lot of them. And they want somebody to tell them it's going to be okay and everything you believed all those years is just fine, when the world is saying no, we want something different. And it's just, so they're looking for, that's coupled with the fact that everybody knows in a few years white folks are not going to be the majority in this country. There's not going to be a majority for quite some time anymore, racially, ethnically. They're scared.
We know.
They're scared of losing their power, and then part of them are afraid, oh my God, are they going to treat us like we've treated them all these years?
No, thank you.
And it's just so they're clinging to a strong man who they think will keep them safe, even if it means giving up all their rights.
Oh yeah, they don't care about that anyway.
Because they think they'll get to keep their rights, and he'll go after the people that don't deserve those rights, who are bad or broken or immoral.
I heard my father say many years ago that they should lock up anyone who's suspected of a crime, because then they'll know at least that they got the criminal somewhere in there.
Okay.
Point being that average people have no concept of how or why we have the rights that we have.
I have heard people say things like, well, it's not so bad in jail. They get 3 square meals a day and they don't have to do anything. They've got heat and air conditioning and a TV.
Yeah.
And my counter to that is, well, why don't you go?
Right.
Well, I don't want to go.
Easy to get in, just commit a crime.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be anything terrible. Why don't you go? Well, I was brought up not to do that kind of thing. It's like, well, okay, why don't you go?
Spectacular.
Why don't?
Yeah.
Or I would hear people gripe about how great the people in the housing projects have it. Oh, look, they're renovating the housing projects. Oh, it looks so fancy, says the people living in a 3-story house on a huge plot of land. Oh, it's so fancy. I can't believe they're getting all that with our tax money. And it's like, they don't own any of that. They don't have any of that.
Right, it's not even theirs.
It's basic sustenance. I think we're on it's a worrying time, and it has been since 2016, I think, about how much
I know, as soon as I left this country, it just went straight to shit.
It's worrying how many people it seemed like are willing to let the government do whatever they want to do and not really represent them at all. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying all the politicians are pure as driven snow on one side or the other, because they're not. I think some of them up there are honest and want to try to do what's right by people and, do the kind of job that we're told in our history and civics textbooks that they're up there.
What I really want to talk about is what did we learn from this week of live streaming?
Well, I learned about those sculptures that was in that amusement park, those giant stone sculptures. That was really neat. I didn't know such things existed. So that's cool.
The hands holding the bridge?
Yeah. And those cable cars. I mean, I've been on a
cable car, right?
I mean, I'm sure you and I both have been on cable cars like in Gatlinburg and Tennessee mountains and stuff. But those you were on there just seemed like they were much longer.
It said that it held the record for the world's longest cable car. I can't remember if it said the world's longest cable car system or the world's longest stretch of one cable car.
I believe it.
Yeah, I do. I do too. I don't think we got on the longest one. I don't think it was running. It wasn't busy enough. But there's one that goes directly from the top all the way down to the parking lot, and that one is. I imagine that one's the longest.
Whoa!
Actually, it held the record for world's longest until 2022. That was, I guess, the longer one was built. I didn't ask. I just assumed. What else? Oh, you like the hands? Okay.
I like that. That park was neat. The part of it I saw was neat. I liked all the sculpture. That was cool. Like the historic, really well designed.
With the archaeological site.
Oh, I wasn't
Russ tuned into that. You weren't there. No, Russ tuned up for that one.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the place where those types of it was one of the sites that they actually got some of the sculptures from. The museum had sculptures from multiple sites, but most of what was left at Maison Sanctuary was just like the foundations and the brick. What was left of the brick structures. A lot of that was destroyed by American. I gotta be totally honest. I find that kind of stuff reserved here. Like they don't throw it in your face and go. The Americans bombed this, and what they'll say is the Americans bombed this, and it shows how the horrors of war and why we should all try to avoid it. And strangely, they don't say it shows what dickholes the Americans are, and they're gonna not solve problems so that they'll have something to campaign on.
Yeah. So they can point at it and say, look at this huge problem. Joe Biden's not doing anything about it.
Right.
Okay, so today the Senate passed this aid package separate from
that was today.
Border stuff. Today or yesterday, yeah. Border stuff. They said, well, we still want to get this done. Y'all weren't happy with the border stuff, so we're going to pass this so we can give money, especially to like Ukraine, to fight Russia. And Republicans in the House said, no, we're not going to pass that. The Speaker of the House, Johnson, said it doesn't address the biggest problem with that in the U.S., in the nation right now, which is the border. Of course it doesn't. It's a foreign aid package. It has nothing to do with domestic policies. Second of all, y'all said the problem was with the border stuff. Well, here, this is separate. You're not going to pass it either. And they were like, no, we're not going to, because part of it, of course, is because they were told not to, because some people, it seems, are pretty pro, because it's humanitarian aid to Palestine.
Yeah, the Israelis aren't letting it in anyway, though, are they?
Here and there.
I mean, not that we shouldn't approve.
Yeah, they're letting it in here and there, but that situation is a whole nother kettle of fish. But
well, that might fall into the international politics that I somewhat want to avoid. But
yep. But
at the same time, I'm not sure we're going to be able to completely avoid international politics. But
it's also costing lives in Ukraine when they can't resupply their stuff,
right?
With the equipment that we would be sending them. We're not sending them money for the most part. We send them equipment and materials from what we have, and then we use that money to buy it again from ourselves. Generally inside the U.S. So that money is
of course
going into our economy, which is not something I think people understand. They think we're sending over a check, I guess, to the Ukrainian government.
Truckloads of cash.
Yeah, just a big pallet of money. But anyway, so that's the wackiness that has ensued with that.
Well, I got to say, part of what I like doing this is it's a good distraction from the horrors of the real world. I can only hope that people don't blame the citizens when their governments do shitty things, because I'm sitting right here in Vietnam today and being treated very well by the people who live here, despite what my government did in the past.
Well,
So I'm
you've got more in common than the people you're there around, right? I mean, the people who were working the restaurants and driving the mopeds and all that kind of stuff. I've got more in common with those people than I do with the people in Washington.
Yeah. We're working class, and I just run myself so ragged. And now I realize I had also had allergies. So when I finally figured that out and went and got the pills, it's steadily improving. And I'm sure in a couple of days I'll probably be back to 100. But I'm going to have to take those. That's a travel tip. I repeat, not a travel tip channel, but occasionally we run into things. If you have allergies, not carrying allergy medication can be the worst thing. If you're going anywhere where you think there might be something in bloom, you don't know what's there. No way you can know, if you've never been there before, what you're going to react to. I don't recommend taking allergy medication with you. I recommend taking allergy medication before you go, and just take, like, especially if you do the 1 a day thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I take loratadine, and it takes a couple of days for that to work into your system. It doesn't immediately clear everything up, but once it's in there, you're good. You won't have the reaction like you would otherwise. And I'll just take it steadily all through spring here, because I don't know what's in bloom. I don't know what it is, but it's either a lot of different things or it's something that blooms all through the spring, and it has already started. I mean, I came a little farther south, so it may be early for me this year, but honestly, it would start in a few weeks anyway, because we're only a couple of weeks from March. Yeah. So it starts in March and it lasts straight on through to summer. I get a few weeks really of reprieve in the summer when I don't have to take pills, and then I'll start it again in the fall, because the fall plants bloom and set me off too. So my advice to people who are traveling is, if you're not sure, you could have a ruined vacation by the time your allergy medication kicks in after you get there. Then you only have so much time on vacation. So just take it as if you're going to be, if you know you have allergies, that you react. Mm-hmm. That's medical advice, which you probably shouldn't take from me, but it's just over-the-counter medication.
Again, check with your doctor.
Yeah, if you have the luxury of medical care, please check with your doctor. I never check with my doctor about anything, because I've never had a doctor. But I check with Erica. I'm like, she loves cetirizine. That's her allergy med, and she's all about it. But I know that works for me as well. That doesn't work quite as smoothly as loratadine. Smooth and delicious.
Smooth, safe. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I don't know what lesson there is to learn from that. There's a couple of things I could have done different. Like, I decided to be cute and ride the bike up to Abana Hills, and I think that added to the problem, because being on the back of a bike for that long dries your skin out, which dries you out, which means, is the reason that I got dehydrated so much. If you're going to do that, fine. I probably should have put some lotion on my face before I took off, and or just make sure you're ready to hydrate when you get there. Refill your reserve of water. If you want to go to a place like that, just dedicate the full day to refill your reserve of water. But another option, especially if you're with somebody, if you're traveling with somebody, is to just take a cab, or actually, I think there's a bus. It takes an extra long time, but if you're not doing a live stream, you're probably fine taking the bus. Bina Hills could have been a full day too. It is a big part of a old French village. And did you see the French village? I forget.
No, I didn't see the French village.
You saw the stone hands, and I think you left shortly after that.
Yes.
Did you remember the wine place that I got the free ticket to?
Yes, I remember that part.
So they included, when I bought the ticket, they included the wine place, and it turned out to be a cellar, but really just a wine store. And it was around the corner, and the ticket was to walk through the cave, which I didn't really care about, but the old cellar. And so I walked in through that, and it was like, okay, it's a cave, I get it. But it cut off the stream, of course. So it was like, I can't even show it, and I wasn't really interested in seeing it to begin with. And then it feeds out into the wine store, which you can also just enter for free from the wine store side. And I was like, okay, well. But the ticket included a glass of, there was an underground amusement park with, this was the amusement park rides and bumper cars and swings and things like that.
Oh, that sounds neat.
Yeah, it was great. I don't know why they built it underground. It was kind of bizarre. But I wouldn't put it on the must-do list, honestly. If you're here, if you're in Da Nang for a while, then yeah, maybe you want to go up there and see what it's all about. But it's a long way out of the way, and it's a lot of stuff that I feel like you can really get elsewhere Not the cable cars. They were neat. That was interesting. I'll give those an A+. I just don't know if that's worth going all the way up there for and paying the ticket to get in.
Mm-hmm.
The little stuff like restaurants, bars, and cafes. It's all cute, but it's also that's Vietnamese culture anyway. And the thing was, I think I could have just broke that into 2 streams. So I probably in the future shouldn't be afraid to break up my day into multiple streams. Should that be, advantageous? If there's going to be an hour or maybe in 45 minutes between sites, then it may be worth it to just say, hey, thanks for watching, and we got a new stream starting in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's that. I don't know. Any other thoughts you had about it?
No.
Like I said, more talking is good according to YouTube experts. So I will say one of the things I wanted to say, I felt, and one part of the reason I did those information packets, and I think I will keep doing them because I want, some information to be able to present and, just to know some facts about what we're seeing. But although I may change the orientation of, like, you're just watching it to see the place and feel what it's like to be there. And I was like, that's definitely our wheelhouse. We're not the advice channel. We'll always have some things will pop up and we'll have some advice to give based on our experience. But I'm not making a channel that's about travel advice.
Okay.
I guess I could do that. I've worked in travel for a long time, or a long time ago. And I've traveled a lot, but I don't really want to give people advice on it. The best advice you can give is, you got to have good sense, a good head about you. When you travel, things happen that you're not going to expect, that you did not plan for, and you've got to be able to adapt on the spot. That's the best advice I could give. But point being, like, we're the Living Vicariously channel, so it's not really so important for us to rattle off a list of facts about a place, or to try to be the experts on the Cham culture or Cham sculpture or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, just to go there and experience it and chat naturally with what comes up and enjoy ourselves. What you think?
That's fine. I mean, I think you don't have to stick to whatever I hate to use this word formula or stick is. You don't have to stick to that 100% of the time. Obviously, like it's some kind of ironclad thing, but
you don't have to stick to the stick.
You don't have to stick to the shtick. But yeah, I think we should, since you're kind of figuring out what the identity of the channel is, try to lean into it for sure.
Well, despite all that, that's just lessons we've learned this time. I feel like we did a good job. I feel like we did 6 good days of travel, and we should pat ourselves on the back for that.
Well, you do that because I didn't do anything but, sit in front of my computer and talk. I
think you only missed one day. Is that one or two?
Well, yeah, but you were on way longer than I was here for most of them. I mean, I wasn't doing the hard work. I mean, I was sitting and talking.
Well, I'm glad to know I'm not causing you medical issues when you sit up, that you're just tired. And I don't sit up late either. Last night I was in bed by 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have the luxury right now of being able to sleep in a little bit, but I still get tired.
All right, well, it's fun to see the beach. To be honest, I thought it was going to be a lot fewer people. I did not think it was going to be a popular beach. That's kind of surprising. No, thank you. Let's hit that grab. First, let's figure out where we're going. Hoi An Museum, History and Culture, and we're just going to try. I don't have grab open. Oh, that's right. I had to close it because it drains the battery. Okay. Hoi An Museum, History and Culture. Eating and then being active is a terrible idea. It's not giving me a key. Okay. Hoi An Museum of History and Culture. 3.9 kilometers. Yeah, sure. Well, it looks.
Jag är den sista och som jag kommer att veta som den personen som tar över. Jag är med sig för mig i början. Men jag kan inte vara där till och med. Ja, 4. Den är tid. Jag kan inte sätta från. Hemma. Hit kom det. Ja, jag är den sista och som jag kommer att veta som den personen som tar över. Jag är med sig för mig i början. Men jag kan inte vara där till och med. Ja, 4. Lämna inte ut. Lämna rör dig från. Hit om det. Ja,